Well, presidential candidate Mitt Romney has not yet released his personal tax returns, but he has released his proposed China policy. Now, as usually is the case with presidential candidates, Romney has been pretty tough on China in his campaign speeches and is widely viewed by Chinese people as empty talk in order to get more votes. So far, he's done everything from poke fun at China for coming in second in the medal count at the Olympics and even bragged about the recent U.S. Mars landing in the face of China's ambitious yet still far behind space program. But his new policy goes into more detail on the military side. According to Romney's statement, he wants to increase American influence in the East Asia Pacific and bolster ties with allies in the region. Now, none of that is entirely new, but here's what's got Weibo users in a tizzy. Now, under Romney's administration, Taiwan gets all the military firepower and equipment they need for their own defense. Now, none of this pussyfooting around with different kinds of aircrafts. Taiwan gets what it needs, bottom line. Well, there wasn't much positive response to the publication of Romney's China policy. Let's take a look at these comments and you'll see what I mean.
Every 4 years, they have another election to get a different bum in office. The U.S. president is the world's biggest bum. I wish the world could be rid of American hegemony. The big problem with American democracy is that many politicians are just playing the system. Behind the scenes, big donors support the candidates. And then once the candidate gets elected, the politician has to pull for their interests. The military industry is one of the big donors.
Well, the whole military-industrial complex thing is a good point. But while some of these commenters were clearly upset, there wasn't the outrage that I expected. Well, I guess most Chinese people are used to the U.S. selling these weapons to Taiwan, and even more used to candidates talking tough to China when they really don't mean it. But could it be different this time? Now, Romney has stated explicitly on many occasions that the U.S. needs to take a tough line with China and label them a currency manipulator. Well, that would certainly set off a diplomatic firestorm that could have serious repercussions for the whole world. Now, here are some other opinions on Taiwan arms sales and Romney's China policy.
I'm not going to talk about whether the U.S. is evil or not, but I'm just really curious. How come all these democratic countries all want to vilify China during elections in order to get votes? From Japan, Korea, the U.S., even our old allies, Russia, Vietnam, Burma, and of course Taiwan, even Hong Kong, which has already returned back to China. What is it that caused China to become the world's enemy after 1949? Go ahead and sell them weapons. China's not going to try to become the predominant power anyway. All we care about is if life is good on the mainland. Hasn't it always been like this? It's just that they usually don't talk about it. It's just to get votes. It's all the same no matter who becomes president. It's nothing to get worried about.
Well, I guess it's safe to say that most commenters are shrugging off the news. So, do you hear that, Romney? If you want to irk China, you're gonna have to try a little bit harder than that. Tell them you really hate mooncakes or something.